Two police cruisers pulled up in my gravel driveway, tires spitting dust into the hot Michigan air, and before I could even kill the engine on my U-Haul, my dog Duke was already going nuts behind the screen door. You ever get that feeling you're the star of a show you didn't even audition for? That was me, sweaty and tired, holding a box of old photo albums, suddenly on stage for the whole county. One officer stepped out, hand resting close to his holster. The other scanned my porch like I'd robbed a bank. "You the property owner?" he asked. "Yes, sir. Just moving in," I replied, and I swear I barely got the words out before I heard Ither voice, shrill and righteous. "That's him. He's trespassing. That cabin is under HOA rules. He can't be here." And there she was, Karen, queen of the clipboard brigade, arms crossed like she was guarding the crown jewels, backed up by two other board members who looked like backup singers at a bad talent show. I almost laughed, but stuck in my throat. I'd built this cabin with my own hands. I bought every nail, every shingle. But here's Karen, waving the law around like a magic wand, ready to make me disappear. The cops split a poem to me, one to her. The first officer took out his notepad. "Sir, we'll need you to explain why you're on this property." I kept my cool. "Would you like to see the deed?" Karen cut in, jabbing the air. "You can show them whatever you want, but this is part of our association. We have lake rules. You didn't get approval for that cabin." I stared her down. "Karen, did you even look at your own HOA boundary map?" She faltered just for a second, and I grabbed my phone, ready to show her the county plat. "This lakefront isn't under your jurisdiction," I told her. The cop glanced at her, then at me. I could see the confusion brewing behind his sunglasses. What Karen didn't know, I'd done my homework, and I had a move that would make her wish she'd picked a different fight. But that showdown, it was just the latest act in a story that started months earlier. Back then, I was packing on my little ranch house in Ohio, watching morning dew cling to the grass, daydreaming of quiet days by the water with Duke. I'm Matt, 42, carpenter by trade, stubber by nature. I'd spent almost a decade saving for a chunk of land where I could live free. No more HOA letters about my grass. No more fines for wind chimes or garden gnomes. So when I bought 5 acres on a remote lake in northern Michigan, just outside the infamous Whispering Pines HOA, I thought I'd finally found peace. I did everything right: permits, surveys, checked the boundary lines twice. Locals at the hardware store warned me about Karen Baker, the HOA president who'd been running the show for over a decade. She was legendary for measuring fence heights and doling out fines for mailbox colors. I laughed it off. I was outside her reach, so I thought. The trouble started before I'd even poured the first slab. One morning, this silver SUV skidded to a stop by the lake. Out steps Karen, sunglasses glinting like a threat, lips pinched. "Excuse me, what are you doing?" she snapped. "Building a cabin," I replied, as polite as I could manage. "Not without HOA approval," she shot back. "I'm not in your HOA," I said. She leaned in, dropped her voice. "You think you're smarter than me?" I just shrugged. She stormed off, but that was just the start. From then on, I couldn't go a week without some fresh headache. A bogus county complaint about illegal dumping, nothing found. My tools tampered with. Nails scattered, sawdust in my generator. Andy, somebody even pushed over my portable toilet and taped a note on it: "Not welcome." I knew who was behind it, but I kept my mouth shut, kept building, determined not to let a bitter neighbor ruin my dream. 3 months later, my cabin was finished wooden deck, stone chimney, hand-painted sign: Matt and Duke's place. The very first morning I was moving in, the cops showed up. Karen must have been watching from a minute I hit the driveway. She wanted to rattle me, make me leave, but what she didn't know, I'd already uncovered the original Plat Me parcel was never part of Whispering Pines, and I quietly bought the right-of-way that their precious lake access trail crossed, meaning they had no legal right to set foot on my land. But right then, as I pulled out the deed for the cops, Duke went nuts again. I looked up and saw Jason Turner, HOA secretary, master of khakis and conspiracy slinking through my pines with a camera, taking photos through my windows. That was it. I stormed off the porch, boots crunching gravel, ignoring the officer's calls, Duke at my side. "Jason, what the hell do you think you're doing?" He froze, camera half raised. "Karen said we could check for unauthorized materials." "You're trespassing," I yelled. "Get off my property before I call my lawyer." Jason tripped over a log, hit the dirt, scrambled away as the cops ran over to break it up. That was my last straw. I handed over every document deed, survey, all of it. The officer leafed through, face shifting from suspicion to embarrassment. "Ma'am, this property isn't part of your HOA," he told Karen. "It's always been," she snapped. I pointed to the 1984 deed. "No, it was split off before your HOA even existed. County records will back me up." For once, Karen was speechless. But I wasn't done. "You know that trail your residents use to reach the lake?" I said quietly. "I own it now. Legally. Your HOA doesn't have lake access anymore." The officers let out a low whistle. Karen sputtered, threatened legal action, but there was nothing she could do. The cops left, warning Karen about false reports, and Jason limped off, avoiding my eyes. The next day, I drove to town, met with a local attorney, Clara Walton. She was sharp, not afraid of Karen or anyone else in that HOA. "You're in the clear," she said. "You can gate the path, file a restriction, make it permanent. If they keep coming after you, we'll take them to court." That week, I put up a private property no HOA access sign. By midnight, it was trashed. I installed trail cameras, motion lights, a lock on the gate. The war had started. Then came the classic Karen move. A letter accusing me of violating lakeside environmental rules adopted by an HOA I didn't even belong to. She threatened legal action, sent Jason and a couple others to document violations with clipboards and flashlights. I chased them off. Next day, Clara and I filed a formal restriction. No HOA member could set foot on my land, or I'd file harassment charges. But Karen wasn't done. She filed a complaint with the township, claimed I had code violations, tried to force an inspection. The official showed up, checked my permits, my dock, my septic, everything passed. He saw through it. "Looks like you're just being harassed, son," he muttered, closing his clipboard. That night, I sat on my dock, Duke by my side, and wondered how it got this far, why people like Karen fight so hard to control what isn't theirs. But I wasn't giving up. I put it all together, every note, every trespass, every scare tactic, sent it to Clara. She prepped a protective order and harassment claim. Within days, the HOA got a cease and desist, warning them off for good. But the real twist? A reporter showed up on my porch, asking about the ban on lake access. My story hit the local paper suddenly. Neighbors who'd ignore me started reaching out, apologizing, thanking me, even siding with me against Karen. And then, the big one. Richard Holloway from the state HOA Oversight Board arrived, binder in hand, starting an investigation into Whispering Pines' leadership. Karen doubled down, but her board began to crack. Members resigned. Anonymous letters surfaced. Then the lawsuits hither against me countersuing, evidence flying. In court, Clara shut them down with one line: "They have privilege, not a legal right." The judge sided with me, permanently banning HOA interference, calling out Karen's harassment. She left court alone, sunglasses on, head down. By the next community meeting, Karen was voted out as president. Richard returned, grinning, binder closed. "She's barred from serving on any HOA in the state for a decade." I finally had peace for a minute, until a new face arrived, a realtor, interested investors wanting to buy my land double market value. I laughed her off, but Clara dug deeper and found Karen was behind a shell company, trying to buy her way back. We locked my land under a conservation easement, untouchable forever. Karen got desperate, filed more bogus complaints, tried zoning tricks, but every move failed. Then Naomi, the reporter, called Karen had been arrested for HOA fund fraud, busted by her own greed. My neighbors rallied, threw a picnic on a lakeshore. Kids splashed. Grown men thanked me for giving them their lake back. They named the old access path Freedom Trail. But the ripples didn't stop. Turn out, Karen had help a bigger HOA president on the far side of the lake, trying to buy upland, control access, and gouge the whole community. They even tried to burn me out, set a fire in my woods. But the fire department caught it, and soon after, subpoenas started flying. Both HOAs stripped of authority. My story went national. And me? I finally sat by the fire pit I built, Duke snoring at my feet, staring out over water I'd bled for. All because I refused to be bullied, refused to sell, refused to give up what was rightfully mine. Peace isn't just the absence of noisy, it's knowing you stood your ground, even when the whole world tried to move you. So if this story fired you up, if you've got a wild HOA story, or just believe peace is worth fighting for, drop your city in the comments. Share your own tales, and let's talk about what real justice looks like. Your voice matters. Don't ever let anyone tell you otherwise.